Hi everybody, Erica here from Erica Lee Consulting. Today I want to talk to you about training. Now, this is something that all of us in our professional lives have experienced. Maybe we manage to avoid it. Some people like to avoid it. Some people embrace it and really enjoy it. Fact is that a lot of folks, especially when they work in a busy manufacturing environment, they will go and they will check the box to say, yes, I've got the training. And then they go out onto the floor and they do things exactly the same way. And a client I spoke to recently called this the Men in Black effect. You remember when they put the gun that sort of erases your brain and then you go back to not knowing anything? He said something similar happens when people walk out of the training room. They lose all the knowledge and they don't apply it. And so I have seen this in my experiences as well. I have seen people check that box and then go back to business as usual. And when I sat with a client about 2 years ago, they had a big transition coming up in their business and they were scratching their heads as to how they were going to make it. And what we concluded was that we needed to do some training. We needed to communicate a new set of expectations to these employees in order for the business to be successful. But the training alone was just not going to cut it. And so I designed what is now the spark plug process, which involves training plus some follow-up, because we know from our friends, the social psychologists, that it takes, some say 21 days, some say 60 days to break a habit and replace it with a good new one. And when we talk about the impact of training, when we consider it from a value add or return on investment perspective, you as a business leader really need to be looking at what you're hoping to get out of the training. Some of it you need to do to check a box to sort of cover your butt. But a lot of the time, I'm going to go out on a limb. I'm going to be very provocative and say nobody wants to do training. No leader wants to send their people on training. They want the change that they think that the training will give them. So that's why I would say that portion that comes after the training, when they take the knowledge, they download it, they watch the PowerPoint, they look at the handout, maybe they write a little test, that helps, right? And then they go back to the shop floor. The thing that will spring that information to life before they forget it, that is a critical time. That time after they finish getting the knowledge, they download it, and then they need some help to really reintegrate it into their world outside of the training room, which is, where they are 99.5% of the time. And so through the spark plug process, I've seen this work. And so I am not a behavioral psychologist. I'm not an expert on this. I'm a manufacturing engineer who has seen these ideas play out. And I started consulting to companies in 2011 because I love seeing that permanent change. It's not about the training, it's about the results that come after the training. And what some of my clients are really starting to understand is that it is worth it. It is worth every penny of that follow-up and that time that you spend, or that they hire me to spend, with the people that are getting the training to ensure that it becomes permanent behavior change. So I'd be very curious to hear what you think. Do we have anyone in my audience who wants to defend training without any follow-up and try to argue that it works? Or do you think that this new paradigm of training plus follow-up equals behavior change is the way of things to come? Because I certainly think it is. Thanks.